Hey guys, okay, just doing the waterproofing membrane on this ICF house here. So I'm using this Resisto. I'm using the winter grade one, which is good down to minus 10 degrees Celsius. It's just a lot stickier. I would say anything, below maybe 5 degrees Celsius, you should be switching to the winter. But I would use it all the time just because of how sticky it is. It's awesome. So this is the Resisto ICF waterproofing membrane. I'm just gonna show you guys how I'm putting it on. Seems to be working well. And then we're in Ontario, Canada, so the building department requires us to put some kind of protection over top of this unless we're backfilling with sand, which we're not. We're backfilling with 3/4 clear gravel and dirt, so we need some protection, so we're going to use dimple board on top. So I'll show you that as well. This is an opening for the pipe for an outdoor wood boiler. It's quite large, about 7 inches in diameter, the pipe, and this is 9, and that's just a line for a well. There's a window there. But yeah, I'm just gonna do this little section to show you, and hopefully it helps you out.
Okay, so the audio was terrible here because of the wind, so I'm just going to voice over what I'm talking about here. So basically I've got a chalk line snapped right at the top of the Resisto, you can see there, and that line represents 6 inches below the finished grade. So that's where the finished dirt, grass, whatever you want to call it, is going to stop, but minus 6 inches. Because to that red line from the top, I'm going to have parging coming down to it. I just didn't want to have Resisto or dimple boards sticking up above the ground in any way. I know you could just put a little bit more dirt, but I just want to make sure that my parging, my acrylic parging with the mesh that we're going to use on this ICF house does, sort of tuck down below the dirt a little bit, just so it looks really nice and create sort of a shedding effect over top of the Resisto. Before I put the parging on, I'm going to use this sort of piece of transition tape that Resisto actually makes. It's like a felt type of material that has stickiness on the back, and it allows you to actually parge right over top of it. And it's a band that actually will go over top of the Resisto and the dimple board membrane. So the water will come running down the parging over the Resisto and the dimple board and continue down to the perimeter drain. So basically what I did here is I just I cut my pieces. I think they were like 6'4" or whatever. It's going to be different for every situation, but I'm obviously going from my chalk line down to the perimeter drain, which is a 4-inch big O with 3/4 clear gravel around it. And then you'll see what I'm doing here is I'm just marking with a level, just so when I drop my Resisto sheets down, I sort of have a line to follow. And that way the sheets don't get like crinkled up and stuck and misaligned, whatever. The more I did these, I sort of just found that going off the lines of the ICF block, whether they're right in the right position or not, was good enough. So you don't necessarily need to do this one step that I did here. And so yeah, it was like December, I believe, like 15th or 16th when we did this in Ontario, Canada, and it was crazy hot. Like it was 6 or 7 degrees, and then in the sun here it was probably even warmer. So this stuff was sticking really well, and just like the perfect time to do it. The wall was nice and dry in the sun, so it was great. So I just peeled down about 6 inches, put it on my 2 lines right at the corner there. Resisto stipulates a 4-inch overlap at any seam, so you can see that I'm obviously overlapping that 4 inches, whether that be to the side or top, bottom, whatever you need to do, 4 inches. And then another thing you won't see in this video, whenever you come to like an inside corner or an outside corner, they want you to put a piece, I believe it's 18 inches on either side of that corner, 9 inches on either side of that corner. And then that's where you work from or to. It's just because it's difficult to put a full sheet right into a corner, as you can imagine. There's just a lot of stickiness going on. It tries to stick to itself, and it's just not practical. So cutting, I think, an 18-inch wide strip and then 9 inches of it on either side of inside or outside corner works out really well. So you saw I pulled the sheet down behind it here, and I'm using my hand to sort of smooth it out as I go, just to sort of control it. And then Resisto recommends this, you do need to use a roller to roll it out to make sure you have good adhesion to all the surfaces. This is just a little roller I've had for years. if you're going out to buy one specifically for this, I would recommend getting a bigger one. Obviously it just goes a lot quicker, but this one did the job. So yeah, just rolling this out here. Probably concentrate on the edges is the most important. And yeah, I'll put a couple more sheets on here. I'll sort of speed it up just so you can see, and then I'll just quickly show you the dimple board. Okay, so I got the Delta MS dimple board membrane rolled out here. It's just got one screw in the top of it, over top of the Resisto I just put on. And I'm just using these 1.25" fender washers here with a, I think it's an 1.5" or 1 5/8" deck screw to hold them on. So you got to keep in mind this is not doing waterproofing per se. I mean, you don't have to use the actual brand name Delta MS big orange washers that come with it, or whatever brand you're using. They have big washers. This is doing just fine. I put them up at the top every, I don't know, I think like maybe 24 inches or 18 inches, just enough to keep everything, you know, held up there nice during backfill, and keeping it tight against the wall so you don't have dirt getting in behind as you're backfilling. You don't want that because then it starts to bulge out. So I'm just going along, pulling, and then putting a screw right through into the web of the ICF. So it's a lot nicer doing it here than on a concrete foundation. I mean, we've done a lot of this dimple board on concrete foundations before, and you have to use like a gas nailer, and it just never feels secure when it's going into the concrete or block surface, or you have to drill and Tapcon, and it just takes a whole ton of time. Just working with an ICF foundation is a lot nicer because you basically have a securing strip everywhere, every 8 inches on the whole building to secure, you know, foundation wrap, siding, you name it. It's an awesome system. So yeah, I basically just roll this out. I don't know if I already mentioned, but I keep everything 6 inches around the windows, so that allows for parging around the windows, and then either a window well, or if you're just leaving it, you'll have just that little bit of parge around the dirt. So if you like say you have a below grade window, you want to keep the actual grade about 6 inches below the window, but you don't want to see this membrane, so you're gonna parge from the windowsill down 6 inches, and then the membrane's gonna start. If obviously you're doing a window well, you're going to leave a 6-inch space all the way around, so that when you mount your window well, it's going to be 6 inches bigger than the wall on both sides. And you'll only see parging, and then window, and then metal or stone or whatever window well. And then at the bottom you'll see 6 inches of parge, and then the gravel that goes down to your drainage tile. And yeah, so I just cut it here because that I don't know if I already said, but that's the garage over there. And you actually don't need anything according to the building code in Ontario for a garage when it comes to damp proofing, waterproofing for a garage. Especially because with mine the floor is above the ground, so there shouldn't really be any water getting in there anyway. I did put a drainage tile, as you can see there, drainage pipe, which I'll backfill with 3/4 clear, and that's just so I don't get any, you know, built up water up against the actual foundation. You know, you just don't want water any time near your foundation, whether it's, you know, above grade, below grade, anything like that. Just get water away from the house. So that's what that pipe's doing. But you don't need the membrane up the wall there. So yeah, I basically just did this all around the house wherever I was below grade, and worked out really nicely. And then after this, all we're going to do is put 3/4 clear down in front there over top of the black pipe, obviously. And you might not see it in this video, but I tuck the Delta MS behind the Big O, or 4-inch pipe, around the perimeter foundation, so that as the water runs down the wall, it goes into the pipe versus over top of the pipe into the gravel, so it has a direct path to the pipe and out. So yeah, if you guys have any questions about any of this, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and otherwise, have a nice day.